Hi everybody, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Letitia.
And this is your marriage tip for today.
Today's marriage tip is all about RESPCT.
You spelled it right. Respect.
Yes. Okay, good.
It's so important that you respect your spouse at all times. And I think that one of the biggest ways that we disrespect, or that we have a tendency to disrespect our spouses, is when we make them garbage cans or punching bags. There's a difference between your spouse being a sounding board and making your spouse your punching bag. You never want to get into the habit of making your spouse pay for the mistakes or the pressures, let's say that, from your career. Some of you may work a 9 to 5, or may work a part-time job, or you may own your own business or whatever, and there are pressures that come with that. Well, your spouse is not to be your punching bag. They should never pay. Well, I'm a pastor, or I'm a ministry, so my wife should never have to pay for the pressure that comes along with the ministry.
And how you're talking about career or with ministry and stuff like that, but also like even with day-to-day stuff, like someone can tick you off and then you get home and just let your husband have it.
Right.
That's not okay.
Let's take, for example, you could be in traffic, or maybe somebody made an ugly face at you at the grocery store or something, and you come home and boy, you let them have it, and it's really all that aggression comes from something that you experienced with somebody else that your spouse doesn't even know.
I think a lot of times whenever we're having a bad day or something, we have a tendency to take it out on our spouse because we know they're there and we know they're not going anywhere.
Right. Or we feel like they owe it to us because, well, you're my spouse. You should want to know what I'm feeling and want to alleviate some of that. Or we say things like, well, you know me, so you're not going to take it personal. Never assume that, because you don't know what your spouse has experienced up until they see you.
Right. I think a lot of this has to do with just self-control.
Right. That's a great way of saying behave yourself.
Because just think about it. Like, we're able to behave ourselves like in any other times. Right. Okay, let's say, for instance, you got in it with the kids and someone comes to the door. Let's say your pastor comes to the door. It doesn't matter how angry you are. In less than a second, your attitude is going to completely change.
And you'll have a nice praise the Lord. How you doing? I'm blessed, highly favored.
How's your day going? Today couldn't be any perfect.
Couldn't be any more perfect. It was just awesome. So now you can control yourself to respect and honor and have a good conversation with your pastor. You ought to be able to control yourself with your spouse.
Right.
Or with anybody else you come in contact with.
Yeah, because you shouldn't give your pastors more respect than the person that you live with, your husband.
Right. So respect them enough to not make them your punching bag. I understand the idea of venting, and I kind of get it. I mean, you want to have a confidant, but just because an individual is your confidant, there's a fine line between somebody being your confidant and someone being your punching bag or your garbage can.
Right.
Having a spouse is not your escape to just flesh out and just say whatever you want to say whenever you want to say it. No, that's not okay. You still have to have some self-control. You have to know how to behave yourself, and above all, know how to respect your spouse.
Let's say that you need a little help in this area. Maybe you've been married for 20 years and you've been treating your spouse like a dumpster. Okay. One thing that you can do to kind of get yourself back on the right path with this, like whenever you're getting ready to throw up on your spouse, so to speak, just ask yourself, would I talk to my pastor this way?
Right.
Would I talk to a person that I highly respect in the same way that I'm getting ready to talk to my spouse?
Right. How would I convey this situation to somebody I was trying to impress, or someone that I highly respect or admire? And allow that to kind of temper it, because at the end of the day, you want to keep a respectful, even in all the anger and the frustration, you still want to relay it in a respectful tone. And listen, because they love you, they may never tell you that they feel like you puked on them.
Yeah, but if you go to them in a different way, with respect, they're going to really appreciate that.
Yeah, and then you'll get the response that you get will be a little bit more palatable, because sometimes you come and you present the situation to your spouse and they feel attacked, and that comes out in their response. And you're like, well, you ought to be trying to help me and love me. Don't you jump on the bandwagon with them too. Well, some of that comes out in response to the way some of that was conveyed. And, the respect factor will endeavor to set the whole tone in you conveying the situation. And you get the most out of your sounding board or out of your confidant.
If you like this video, also feel free to check out our other videos on our channel. And as always,